Stop fighting. Stop chasing this old man.
He just beat Keith Thurman in his prime for the WBA.
Hi, this is Joe Cortez. You're watching ShowBizz, the adult.
Oh, this is Bernard Hopkins, ShowBizz, the adult. I'm out.
Oops. Up off net. Up off net. What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz, the adult. All right, man, look. So, we have an interview on Fight Hype where Floyd Money Mayweather compares himself to Manny Pacquiao. Oops. All right, man, look. Let's get to the reaction. But first, I gotta say this. I will be doing my live stream commentary tomorrow for the UFC event. Anthony the Family Protector Smith versus Glover Teixeira. And as you know, the co-main event would be St. Preux versus Ben Rothwell. Now, as far as the predictions for the fights, I got Anthony Smith, man. I got Anthony Smith. I think Glover Teixeira is just too long in the tooth. Anthony Smith, the busier fighter, I just think he's going to do his thing there, you know, maybe even by stoppage. But I'm not only picking Anthony Smith to win, I'm rooting for the guy. You know, after protecting his family at 3, 4 in the morning, doing what he had to do there just as a man, as a warrior, as a human being, as a father and a husband. You can't help right now to root for Anthony Smith. As far as St. Preux versus Ben Rothwell, I got St. Preux. So we're going to go to busr.com/showbiz. I'm going to show you guys the odds there. As you see, they do have Anthony Smith as the favorite. You bet $100, you get 200. And as far as St. Preux, he's also the favorite. As you all know, I won pretty big in that Henry Cejudo fight for TKOing Dominic Cruz. So if you know your UFC, if you know your combat sports, this is the place to go. If I were you, though, I wouldn't do anything bizarre here, honestly. I think Anthony Smith is the favorite, and I think he's going to win if you're going to bet on that. If you're going to bet on a St. Preux fight, I'll probably bet for St. Preux. So let me know who you're going to bet on. Maybe it's going to be on another fight on the card. You go to busr.com/showbiz. You'll find all the odds there. Now let's get to the reaction. Floyd Money Mayweather speaking on Manny Pacquiao. Wait! Apple juice. Juice full of apples? Looking like a half glass of Crown Royal, doesn't it? Crown Royal on ice. What's your face at? All right, let's get to this reaction.
I heard the things that you said about yourself and fighting these younger guys and everything, but you know, when you see Pacquiao
Keith Thurman look bad,
and he's still fighting, like, is part of you kind of concerned for him when you see? I mean, even though he looked good, is there any concern? Like,
I mean, that's his prerogative to do what he want to do. I don't against him, but
I was very curious in Floyd Mayweather's response there, because Manny Pacquiao isn't just fighting. He's, you know, snatching the WBA belt from Keith one-time Thurman, a guy that he ducked from. We all know Floyd Money Mayweather fought Berto over Keith one-time Thurman. Okay, a hungry young fighter. Manny Pacquiao fought him as champion and snatched the belt from him. So I was very curious there. He started off, yeah, makes sense to me.
not me. I feel like I can go out there and go out there and perform and win. Win titles and still put on a good show.
Why don't you?
But it's a time and a place. It's time for these other fighters to come up and shine. I had my time to shine. No?
That right there is a very unconventional response for a fighter. Okay, you have Iron Mike Tyson right now coming out of retirement. Okay, you got Manny Pacquiao still fighting. You had, Larry Holmes beating up on Muhammad Ali. You had Sugar Ray Robinson beating up on Henry Armstrong. You had, Anthony Joshua beating up on Klitschko. Actually, Klitschko dropped him. Klitschko went out kicking and screaming. You couldn't just kick Klitschko out the door, but AJ ended up stopping Klitschko. What I'm saying is this, and I've said this many times. When it comes to a fighter, all right, you got to show them the door. You got to force them out, okay? Most fighters who fought very well, Roy Jones Jr., another one, Sugar Ray Leonard, being dominated by Camacho. All those things, Roberto Duran against Joppy. You guys remember that fight? All those guys, all those fights, those fighters, they had to been shown the door. I mean, and it's very unconventional for, a Floyd Mayweather, Joe Calzaghe, or Rocky Marciano, Andre Ward. Those boys who's, they kind of leave where it's like, wait, I think you got more fights in you, Joe Louis, he didn't. Rocky Marciano knocking Joe Louis through the bottom rope. Maybe Rocky Marciano said that's not going to be me. So that's a very unconventional response for a boxer. But he's not the first one to think that way.
I was in the sport I'm still in the sport, basically. So I've been in the sport 24 years? I was champion basically 20 years. So like I said, I had my time to shine. And a lot of times when I'm on here and I say certain things, once again, I don't want nobody to get offended. I speak from the heart. And it's sad that...
Hold on. I don't know about that, Floyd. I'm going to challenge Floyd on that he speaks from the heart. It seems to me that he speaks from the pockets, okay? And that's like, I get it. I mean, he learned his lesson. When he was Pretty Boy Floyd, everything he was doing was the boxer's way, from a boxer's mentality. Then he switched and he started approaching the fight game from a businessman's mentality, and it proved to make him a bigger legend. I mean, if Floyd Money Mayweather, if Pretty Boy Floyd rather, continued on the way he was doing his thing, he'll probably be considered top 50 of all time, top 60, something like that. It was him approaching the game with the business mind, speaking from his pockets, not so much his heart. That, a lot of people think he's the GOAT. There's people that considers him number one, and it was his mouth and marketability and his business savvy and all those things that's making him TBE, the best ever. So, I mean, as far as the complete package, there's only been one Floyd, only one who approached the game as a fighter and a businessman and did so well in both.
You hear guys, I want to fight Manny Pacquiao. I want to fight Manny Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao, like 41 now. Pacquiao to fight. Don't chase him. You young fighters chase each other.
I mean, that doesn't sound okay. Hold on. It's the same idea, Floyd Money Mayweather, when you took on Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was getting long in the tooth. But Floyd knew that was the catapult you fight. That was the stage. I know Oscar De La Hoya isn't as old as Manny Pacquiao, but one can argue that Manny Pacquiao right now at 41 is performing better than Oscar De La Hoya was performing when Floyd Money Mayweather fought him. So I think to jump down the throats of these young guys, the Terrence Bud Crawfords, the Errol, the True Spence, the Sean Porters, Keith One Time Thurman, all those guys for calling out Manny Pacquiao, to jump down their throat, get on their case and say y'all should fight each other. Now, well, you didn't do that. The actual fight that made you Money Mayweather was the fight against the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, and to try to rob Errol the True Spence and those boys from that when they have the opportunity with Manny Pacquiao. That's not fair, Floyd. That's not fair.
Stop chasing this old man.
He just beat Keith Thurman in his prime for the WBA.
But let Manny Pacquiao pick and choose who he want to fight. See, they say...
Why let Manny Pacquiao do anything? As a fighter, I ain't letting him do anything. I'm going to put pressure on him. You still want to be in the ring? Then you're going to have to fight. There's no letting him do anything. There's no charity. He knows this. Floyd knows this. Look at all those X's on his back. How many people he defeated? Those are the people that he stopped, that he got out of there, that he defeated. Okay, so he knows. He knows.
The great ones fight the great ones. Well, just look in the history books and see who beat more world champions than Floyd Mayweather. And even with that being said, eventually Pacquiao probably would. But guess what?
He's talking in circles, man. You gotta love Floyd. You gotta love Floyd, who beat more champions than Floyd Money Mayweather. Then he says, you know, when you look back, Manny probably would. Manny, but both of them, that record is skewed either way, because there's more belts now than ever. There's more champions now than ever. So to use that, it's kind of like saying if Ryan Garcia were to get at Sugar Ray Robinson and say, hey, who had more followers on Instagram, me or Sugar Ray Robinson? You feel what I'm saying? The landscape is different now. So no. But let's see what he has to say. I'm interested.
Pacquiao was a professional before me. And with everything that he has accomplished, hopefully he's made some smart investments.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about here?
This fighter said this, this fighter said that. And the only thing I say is this. My record speaks for itself. My credentials, I just say check my credentials. That's all I can say. No matter what nobody say about me, check my credentials.
That's facts. Big facts. Floyd Mayweather got one of your better resumes, man. I'm not the type to cap, okay, and put an asterisk next to all of Floyd Mayweather's accomplishments. That dude got one hell of a resume. Floyd Money Mayweather really had an outstanding career, okay? So, yeah, he's not capping there. I feel him on that.
They say, oh, you bought a bunch of tomato cans.
No, you didn't.
If I made over $1 billion fighting tomato cans, then guess what? I've got to say thank you to God for blessing.
Okay, he talks from his pockets, right? That wasn't a response from his heart, was it? When he said, you know, you fought tomato cans. Well, if I got $1 billion fighting, he's speaking from his pockets. He always speaks from his pockets. That's not speaking from his heart. I mean, you would think if he spoke from his heart, he'd probably say something like, you know, those were dangerous fights. I fought Maidana twice when there were more of a risk than a reward there. I fought Maidana twice. I was the name that made that money fight. Maidana was just a problem for me. And I fought him again. I fought Castillo twice. I could have just took that win and went on about my business, okay? Look, Lomachenko took a loss against Orlando Salido. And I know Salido didn't make the weight. Salido had to vacate his belt because he just came in overweight and all those things. And Salido was hitting low. But Lomachenko didn't want to run that back. He didn't run that back. Floyd Mayweather ran that back after getting the nod for a fight that he should have lost with Castillo. He could have just ran off, you know, on this highway. It was his heart that made him fight him again. He should speak from his heart a little bit more if he says he's going to speak from his heart. He spoke from his pockets right there. Floyd Mayweather, you know, a lot of the criticisms that he has, he brought it on himself. But that's okay. He's happy with it. Who am I? I'm just giving an observation on the fact that he doesn't always speak from his heart. That's all. But he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to.
It's time to invest in tomatoes if that's the case.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, to me, Floyd, what he has that all fighters got is the sense of appreciation. He still wants to be appreciated for his accomplishments, okay? And sadly enough, him and Manny Pacquiao will always be linked. And the funny thing about that is they shouldn't be. I'm gonna keep it real. They really shouldn't be linked like that. They only had one fight. And the rest of it was everybody hyping up the fight. They only had one. Marquez and Manny Pacquiao should be linked more. Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Money Mayweather. Though they're not rivals in the sense of in the ring at all. It's just a comparison of their accomplishments. But I really, when I think of rivals, Manny Pacquiao has had greater rivals than Floyd Money Mayweather. Timothy Bradley comes to mind. Marquez comes to mind. Eric Morales comes to mind. There are guys that Manny Pacquiao, his rivals are greater in the ring with those boys. When it comes to Floyd Money Mayweather, it's more so just a comparison. I think we made it a rivalry more than it really is. With that said, they will always be linked. Just like in this interview, you mentioned Floyd, you're talking to Floyd, you can't help but to mention Manny Pacquiao. And at the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao may be just officially seen as greater than Floyd when it's all said and done, because I've seen that happen. I already think Manny Pacquiao's career is better than Floyd Money Mayweather's. But for those who don't think so, I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen with Bernard Hopkins, the executioner. I saw him surpass Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr., he didn't have the tail end career that Bernard Hopkins had. Prime for prime, though, Bernard Hopkins wasn't close to Roy Jones Jr. But as far as total career, Bernard Hopkins ended up having a greater career in the tail end than Roy Jones Jr. And before he retired, many people had Bernard Hopkins over Roy Jones Jr. So I've seen that happen before, okay? Let me know how you feel in the comments below. ShowBizz the Adult. Hey, come to my live stream commentary tomorrow night. And there's actually another UFC event Saturday. So I'm going live there too. I'm out. Huh.